All right, everyone, it's me. I'm back again, Lynn here, to do another fun cosplay and convention topic video. And today's, I actually took down so many notes. I really wanted to go super in depth with this subject and also get all my thoughts and feelings down about it. So today we're going to talk about cosplay and convention etiquette. I know that there are so many videos out there about this topic because it's such like a widely debated topic, and also people, feel certain ways about it or think certain things that others don't. And of course, you want to get your opinion out there. So to start off, I'm going to explain what etiquette is. And to do this, I just went online and looked up the actual thesaurus meaning of the word etiquette. So etiquette is the customary code of polite behavior in society or among members of a certain particular profession or group. So when we talk about etiquette, this is not exactly your thoughts or your opinions. This is just what is accepted in this group, the group of cosplay, the group of conventions, and everything in between. So, as two quick side notes, most of these rules are unwritten. They aren't going to be ones that if you break, there is going to be punishments or whatever. A lot of these rules are just, if you do it, you're going to get weird looks, you're going to get people asking you to stop, that sort of thing. So it's good to know in advance for people who have never gone to conventions or people just starting out. Also, the second side note is that this is not about your wants, but the needs of everyone. So some of these rules, they do kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie. I've been yelled at for things that I've done wrong too. It happens to everyone. But this is about the needs of everyone, and just keep in mind when you see a rule posted somewhere, even if it looks dumb or sounds stupid, there is a reason that rule is in place. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I have broken this up into the etiquette expected of you for a few different things and places. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the hotel. So if you are a cosplayer or convention goer that does the whole 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or however long the convention is going for, then you probably know that you book a hotel in advance, typically with friends, roomies, or someone that you know in real life, or maybe even business partners, people you work with at the convention. So my first etiquette rule is going to be, if you're sharing a room and someone else is paying for it, like on their credit card, you need to pay your portion of the money that you owe them at least 2 weeks prior to going to the convention. And I would recommend paying them in cash or paying them in a direct transfer to their bank. The reason I'm saying this is because as someone who has been on the receiving end, where I was the one that booked the hotel on my credit card, and having friends literally pay me back the day of the convention, for one, it made me feel really, really uncomfortable. I thought, hey, that's really not cool of you to do, especially because if you decide to drop out at the last minute, then everyone in our group suddenly owes more money than expected, so that's not really cool. It's also common courtesy because if something happens and the hotel needs to be canceled or rebooked for any reason, then they have time to do that without penalty. A lot of hotels will charge you late cancellation fees, so keep that in mind. The next rule about hotels is don't, sorry, I'm skipping things. So the next rule about hotel rooms is check-in, so the day that you arrive to check into your hotel room, is going to be crazy busy. Just expect it, acknowledge it, and know that's how it's going to be. Get there early if you're parking at the hotel, whether you're doing valet parking or you're parking in a garage near the hotel, just get there early. It's going to take you longer to park than you're expecting. Be polite. Be polite to staff members. Be polite to people that are also checking in, and be polite to everyone else that is stuck in that hotel with you that has no clue what a convention or cosplay is, and they're looking around confused. You're going to probably get a lot of comments. That's just what happens. Also, be flexible. There are things that the hotel does not have control over. Things like how many rooms are available early. And I'm not gonna lie, I like to check into our hotel as early as possible. Usually we get to the convention around 10 or 11 in the morning, so it's kind of expected. Our room obviously is not going to be ready. If you're checking into a very nice, luxurious hotel, a lot of times they will be nice enough to hold luggage for you, but then again, don't expect it. You may need to keep your luggage in your car and have someone call you from the hotel when your room is ready. And just be polite if you have to wait in a longer line than you're expecting. If people in front of you are getting rowdy or whatever, like, it happens. Just know it's, you gotta be flexible. Second thing I'm going to talk about, or third thing, is don't room stuff. If you are sharing a room with other people, there should only be 4 to 5 people in your room max. I'm saying this because, for one, it's really dangerous. If there is a hotel room fire or an earthquake or some sort of emergency and the hotel has to be evacuated, they have a list of how many people are in that hotel, and they can tell firemen, you know, hey, we only have this many people that made it out of the hotel, and we have this many people on our list, so there might be someone in their room that needs help, that sort of thing. So, you know, just for safety reasons. The next reason is because your experience is going to be uncomfortable. I have actually seen firsthand, one year when I went to SoccerCon, I needed a sewing kit, and it just so happened someone in our elevator had offered to lend me theirs, and they asked me to follow them back to their room. And I followed them back to the room. I believe we were staying at Crowne Plaza in downtown Seattle. And when they opened their door, I kid you not, there was at least 15 to 20 people stuffed in their little 2-bed room. And when I asked about it, they said, yeah, this is our whole con group. Everyone's staying in the room. I cannot even imagine what it would be like to be so stuffed in a room that you don't even have your own sleeping space. You have to sleep on the floor right next to someone. It's not going to work out. You're going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be a resting area. It's going to be like a party room. And then, of course, you may get kicked out or banned, which means if you have more than 4 or 5 people, whatever the hotel allows, in your room, and you get a noise disturbance, or you get a complaint, or staff comes up and just so happens to see you have too many people in your room, they will kick you out of the hotel. And if you've booked your hotel through the convention website, they also have the option to ban you from future conventions, so keep that in mind. The next thing I have about hotels is when you're in your hotel and you've checked in, keep your luggage, costumes, and props contained to one area. So the way I typically do it is we usually have 4 girlfriends, so me and 3 other girlfriends that go. We each share a bed, so there's 2 of us to a bed, 2 of us to a bed, and then each corner of the room, or if there's like 2 chairs, each person will put their luggage and shoes or whatever like contained to that one area. So that's like our rule. You have your square, you can be messy inside your square, but you are not allowed to be messy in the main walking area, in the bathroom, that kind of thing. So the reason for this is that there won't be any breaking of stuff. A lot of times if someone's prop or something is like under clothing and you're just thinking, well, I'm just walking on top of the clothing, you're gonna step on that prop and snap it in half. And your roommate is not going to be happy about that. Also, nothing is going to get lost that way, because you know if all your stuff is contained in your little square, you're not going to lose your jewelry piece for a costume, or you know, an accessory that you needed, or bra and underwear that go like with a specific costume. You're not going to lose it because you know it's in your square. It's not anywhere else. So keep that in mind as I flip my note page. Okay. So the next thing about hotels, the very last thing, is that decide in advance the hours of your room. This sounds so ridiculous, but I am not going to lie. I wish I had thought of this years and years ago when I first started doing the stay at a convention all weekend thing, because people have different expectations going into rooming with someone at a big event. You have people that want to go to bed early because they want to get up and do early panels. You have people that want to go out and party all night and possibly bring back new friends to the room to like meet you. So here are some things that you want to decide with your group in advance. So the first thing is, can you bring people over? Are they okay with having strangers in their room? You know, if you meet a friend at the con that you know but they've never met, is it cool to bring them back? Like, when can you bring them back? Do people need to be there? Like, that sort of thing. The next thing you want to ask is, what time are people going to sleep? In my group, we have probably half of us like to go to bed early and the other half like to stay out really late. We all know this, so we just know to respect these people's times of when they want to be asleep. And to go with that, we also prep our outfits, pajamas, whatever we need before we leave for late night events. So like if you have a friend that wants to go to bed at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. and you know you're going to be up till 2 or 3 in the morning, put your pajamas like in the bathroom, you know, put your toothbrush out, make sure that there's like a light or something on so you don't have to like go into the room and shuffle around in the middle of the night and like try to find things and like turn on lights and whatever, like waking them up. Make it really simple for you and make it really stress-free for them so everyone's happy. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of the whole cosplay etiquette thing, which is the convention. So this is like the most fun part. You get there, you're excited, you're like ready for convention life, you're ready to like meet people and take pictures and all this stuff. So if you're new, these convention etiquette things are, a lot of conventions post them places. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is picture etiquette, taking pictures of cosplays. So the number one thing, and you've probably seen this in a million other videos, is always ask first. Whatever you want, you need to ask. Because cosplay is not consent. Just because someone is wearing a costume does not give you the consent to take a picture of them. It doesn't give you consent to touch them. It doesn't give you consent to say unwanted things to them. So just remember, if you want a picture of someone, you just need to ask first, no matter the circumstances. Also, the next thing about pictures is that there is just the unwritten rule of you don't touch someone's prop and you don't touch their body. That is just two things. I say this because a lot of people see these like super awesome, like full body outfits. And the first thing you want to go up to do is like touch them because you want to see like, oh my gosh, what is it made out of? But you need to respect people and like not touch their things, not touch them. For one, it's weird. It can be really creepy. For two, you don't know like how strong their proper armor is. If you touch it, you might break it. Or if it was like recently put back together, the last thing they're going to want you to do is like hold their prop. So ask first. The next thing about picture etiquette is that you need to respect cosplayers' rest time. I never hear anyone talk about this in videos, which is why I wanted to bring it up. But if you see Sailor Moon walking, whatever, go ahead and go up and ask for a picture. If you see her chatting with friends, yeah, go up and ask for a picture. If she's sitting down outside of Subway and her shoes are off and she's halfway through a sandwich and she looks exhausted, do not go up and ask for a picture. For one, it's really rude, like, it's just weird. You can obviously tell these people are tired, they want a little bit of resting time, maybe they're in between events, maybe they only have 10 minutes to sit down and eat. But like, if they're resting, let them have their rest time. It's weird to go up and ask for pictures. It's just odd. So I also have a quick story about this too, which is one year I went to a convention and I saw, we were at, what do you call it, Pacific Place in Seattle, which is like a shopping mall pretty much. And a lot of people during the convention go there because there is a food court up top and there's lots of places you can go in, restaurants, places you can get takeout, stuff like that. So during the convention, it's pretty common to see a lot of people up there in costume around 6 p.m. So as we're sitting up there and we're waiting outside one of the takeout places, we notice this huge crowd of people is literally like crowding around a restaurant window. So we kind of like subtly walk by because we want to see what they're looking at. Well, it turns out there was a Sasuke and Naruto cosplayers inside the restaurant. There were extremely attractive men. And of course, an entire group of girls, women, and everyone in between was standing outside the window like this, like peeking in. There was people literally banging on the window, like trying to say things to them. You could tell that they were just totally ignoring them, like not looking at them, but you could tell they were really uncomfortable. And I was completely shocked. I just think that behavior is so unacceptable. And like, you know, even if their costumes are super awesome, if they're resting, if they're eating, leave them alone. Let them have their resting time. So the next thing we're going to talk about with being at the convention is be respectful of everyone and be respectful of the actual convention rules. So some things that you might want to keep in mind are, don't comment on people's missing costume pieces and don't comment on if their costume pieces look different than you're expecting or used to. It's just not common courtesy. You don't really know the backstory of their costume. It might be an original character. It might be something they just came up with. It might be something from a webcomic. Like, you don't know. But the way people typically bring it up is in a very rude tone, and yeah, don't do that. It's weird and it's rude. The next thing is don't ask rude questions. So as everyone knows, there is like the two things that you never talk about at a dinner, which is you don't talk about religion and you don't talk about politics, because everyone will have a different opinion and it will never ever end well. That's the same thing with conventions, but I'm going to throw some other things into topics that you don't bring up or talk about, which is gender, body type, I would also say very sensitive themes in the anime or show that they are cosplaying as. Just don't bring those topics up. You're going to start a fight. You're going to start some sort of war between you guys, and it won't end well. Also, things like body type and gender are honestly no one's business but their own, and especially because there are so many cosplayers at conventions, so women dressing as men characters, men dressing as women characters, everything in between. Like, why do people ask that question? It's weird. Like, it has nothing to do with them. If you see a costume that's cool, why does it matter who is under it? I don't know. Okay, and then the last thing about conventions is respect the word no, no matter what. Even if there is a group photo shoot going on and you want a picture of a certain costume, person in a costume, and you walk up and ask them and they say, no, not right now, respect them. Just walk away and be like, okay, that's fine. No hurt feelings, no need to be weird about it, no need to make a big deal about it. Like, everyone has the right to say no. And there are so many reasons why people could say no. Maybe there's something wrong with their costume and they don't want pictures of it taken at that moment. Maybe they're late for something. Maybe they're just not feeling very well. They might be sick, or maybe they're there to support another friend that's getting their picture taken, but they don't necessarily want their own picture taken. It doesn't matter. Just respect the word no. So the next topic we're going to go on to is restaurants and shopping. I've noticed the theme of when you go to a convention, there is typically, it's typically held in a major city. So I'm talking like Los Angeles, Seattle, New York, all that stuff. So obviously when you go to one of these conventions, it's pretty much expected that you're going to at some point be going to a restaurant in the city, to a store, to a convenience shop, like something like that. And you may be doing it in costume, you may be doing it in between events, so you're just in normal clothes, but here are the things, the etiquette you need to keep in mind. So the first thing is tipping. I don't know why, but so many people, like, it just goes over their head during convention season that if you're out and you're getting a service done, you need to make sure you tip. This gives people such a bad rap in the cosplay community, and I have firsthand seen restaurants treat me and my own friends like we are just rude people when we have not even interacted with them, because they're just expecting, like, they're in costume, they're going to be rude and rowdy, and they're not going to tip. Like, they just expect that of us, and so they just treat us like that, which, to be fair, it's not fair on their part, it's not fair on our part, but I understand where it comes from. So just so you guys know, if you eat out at a restaurant where there's a waiter or someone is serving you, you need to tip at least 15%. Downtown Seattle actually already has a pre-service charge. So like when you go to a restaurant in downtown Seattle now, you don't need to actually tip because the tip is like included in your bill. Also understand that if you are there with a party of more than 6 people, they will typically include a 20% service charge. So just know that that's kind of expected. Different cities have different rules, have different expectations. Like if you're going to a convention in another country, read up on like what is expected tipping wise. Just don't forget that part. Also, with hotel staff, if someone brings your luggage up to your room, if someone, is driving your car in the valet, or the people that are cleaning your disgusting room every night when there is body paint and God knows what else in your bathroom, you need to tip them. I would say like have everyone just put in like $1 or $2 every night, and that's really all it takes. If you have 4 or 5 people in your room and everyone puts in $5, you'll be fine. But be respectful of them. That's their job. That's their livelihood. They have to clean up a lot of messes at conventions and a lot of body paint and things like that. So, appreciate them. The next thing I would say is also don't crowd businesses or coffee shops. especially in downtown Seattle, the Starbuckses and all the coffee shops, it's like insane in there in the mornings when people are getting their coffee and like breakfast before the convention. And if there's lines, be respectful, stand in the line, stand off to the side. Like if you're there with a bajillion friends, maybe just have one friend go in and order everyone's order instead of bringing your 20 friends in with you. You know, like make sure if it's a small business or whatever, you're being respectful of their space. Also, don't bring in large props. If you have Cloud's sword from Final Fantasy, or you have you know, a giant pair of wings or something that like there is really no way to hide it, it's going to be in the way, be respectful. Like if you're going out, just drop it at your hotel room before you go out, or have a friend grab it from you, you know, something like that. Have a plan in place. And then the next thing about restaurants and shopping is expect larger than normal wait times. In Seattle Convention, there is, so like SoccerCon, Emerald City Comic Con, Geek Girl Con. I'm trying to think of all the conventions that are like in downtown Seattle. There is a cheesecake factory that is right across from the convention center, and everyone wants to eat there, and it gets insane, and people get upset because they think I can drop in 4 or 5 o'clock on like a Friday or Saturday night, it's fine. And then they go in there and there's a 2-hour wait time and people get upset. So just understand that like it's a busy time, everyone's running around. You know, there's going to be a million people if you go anywhere in city center. So just, you know, if you want to eat at a very specific restaurant, it's really special to you, make a reservation or like make plans in advance, if that makes sense. Okay, on to more notes. So this is actually the last etiquette thing I'm going to talk about, and I guess it's not specifically etiquette, but I did think it was an important topic to bring up, which is yourself, your body, your costume, your spirit, whatever is in there. Take care of yourself before and at the convention. And it's like no matter how many times people say this, people don't listen, they don't do it. I'm actually bringing this up because I recently saw a video on YouTube, and it was a person talking about like how to get ready for the convention and all that stuff. And her video was really, it was very informative and it was very cute. Like I thought like she's a beginner cosplayer and she's kind of younger and like we've all been there. But the one thing I saw in her video I really didn't like was the fact that she made like energy drinks and 5-hour energy and all that kind of stuff like her main priority. And I have definitely been there. I mean, I've been 16, 17 at a convention. You're with a million friends. Everyone's getting really hyped up on sugar and energy drinks. And then the next night, everyone is like really sick, not feeling well, tired. They don't look good. So to bring up my first topic is make sure you drink water. If you're at a convention, you need to still have your same 8 glasses of water a day, plus whatever you lose dancing, whatever you lose posing, whatever you lose walking around all day, like you need to have a lot of water. I have seen so many people that faint at conventions. It's crazy. I've seen people have seizures at the raves or dances because they weren't eating and drinking normally and it like triggered medical problems. I've seen people faint at karaoke and on stage because they haven't drank water and they're like nervous and it's like hot. Make sure you're eating regularly too. Like I said this in my other videos, but make sure that you are eating snacks, make sure you're eating normal, real meals. I don't mean like eating Pop-Tarts 3 times a day. Like for one, your stomach's not gonna feel well. And for 2, your energy is gonna be all over the place because you're gonna get really hyper and then exhausted and then really hyper and then exhausted. Don't wear costumes that hurt you. Even if you have the cutest cosplay ever, if it's already hurting you and you just got to the convention, imagine that pain all day. Imagine how your feet, your back, your neck, whatever is bugging you is going to feel after wearing that for 8 hours. Just keep that in mind. And also take vitamins in advance. You guys have probably heard of the convention flu or the convention sickness, which is like, for some reason, people always, when they go to a convention and they're surrounded by others and germs and all that, they tend to get sick on the second day. And it's so true. I've seen this happen. It's actually happened to me once. I have a really sensitive stomach. And unfortunately, one year there was, on the second day, I don't know if I ate something that had gone bad or if I had caught something from someone else, but my stomach was just killing me all day and I felt so sick. So take vitamins in advance, make sure you're eating healthy like a month at least before the convention, and just take care of your body. Make sure you're exercising and walking and whatever, have a healthy life. And then the very last thing we're just going to bring up, which is fun is number one. Cosplay means costume play, which means you put on your costume and you run around, you play, and you have fun and you have a good time. So for one, don't let others get you down. If someone makes a remark or a rude comment about your costume or your body, then come up with something to say like, I'm sorry you feel that way, I don't. Or come up with something to say like, well, that's too bad because I actually really love my costume. Like, just let it roll off your shoulders, be calm, be easygoing, whatever. Enjoy what you're doing. If you are at the convention and you are miserable and not having a fun time, then you are doing the exact opposite of what cosplay is all about, which is having a good time. Make sure the people that you are there with are supportive, are kind, are not causing problems and being dramatic or like dragging you into things. Like, just enjoy your time there, enjoy your time with your friends and your costume and your hard work that you put into all this. Also, this thing is something I had to work on for a really long time, and only recently I have gotten really comfortable with. But don't be afraid of alone time. Even if you're there with a group of 15 other people, there are going to be moments where everyone wants to go do different things. And in order to be happy, in order to be successful at your cosplay, you might have to go off on your own for a while and do your own thing, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. This is actually a really good time to go out there and meet other people of the cosplay community, to make friends, to make acquaintances, to make business partners. Like, go out there and meet people, and don't be scared to do it on your own. Also, I actually really I enjoy wandering the convention hall by myself. Just for the fact that there is no argument or question about what I'm going to do next. It's just whatever I feel like. Like, if I see a panel, I'm like, I might go sit in on that. I just go sit in on it and I don't feel bad. Or if you want to eat, or if you want to do whatever. Also, awesome thing is if you're in downtown Seattle, there are so many different eating options and restaurant options. If you're on your own, you can get food from anywhere and no one has to argue about what your group's eating tonight. So anyways, I know this video has been super long, so I thank you for watching it, and I hope these convention etiquette, not rules, but just suggestions come in handy and you just keep them in mind. Just to remind everyone, the cosplay community is a very vast and large one. There are so many different people within it, so just respect everyone that you come across. So anyways, thanks everyone for watching, and I will be back again for more fun cosplay convention videos. All right, see ya.